Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalrin, and today we'll be taking a look at another set of PvP changes to World of Warcraft, BFA. And it looks like, yes, there's even more nerfs, and yes, rogues are in a chopping block yet again. I think it has been now consecutively 4 weeks that rogues have gotten a nerf in some way or another that actually impacts gameplay, be it for PvE or PvP purposes. Anyway, let's get into this set of PvP changes, talk about what is important and how it's going to affect you depending on what class you play. Let's first get the general stuff out of the way. Azurite Veins, which is an Azurite trait that reads, taking damage has a chance to grant you Azurite Veins, healing you for about 3,500 every 3 seconds, lasts 18 seconds or until you're fully healed. This trait has been reduced down to 9 seconds worth of heal when engaging with enemy players, and on top of that, the healing is reduced by 33% against enemy players, which is going to be a huge oof and a huge nerf to this Azurite Veins trait, although I don't think it'll be the worst trait possible. I think they just want to bring it down on the self-healing quite a bit. Now let's talk about some of the class changes that have been happening. Let's get into the meaty one first. Assassination Rogues have gotten nerfed yet again, and this one sucks. All damage reduced by 6% flat when engaged in combat with enemy players. On top of that, System Shock PvP talent, damage reduced by 33%. So if you guys were running around and System Shock in the world, I got some bad news for you. Not going to be able to pull that one across as much as you want to. So let's talk a bit about this 6% nerf. Now, I thought before that like 4%, 5%, 6% nerfs didn't really mean much, but especially in BFA, I've been seeing classes go from, kind of sort of not really considered for PvP with a 5% nerf afterwards to, hey, everybody wants that one class. Enhancement Shaman being one of those classes. Recently, Enhanced got a 5% damage nerf across all the boards, PvP and PvE, and in PvP at least, people started wanting to run with Enhancement a hell of a lot more often, and that kind of nerf to Assassination, where it is now currently the most popular spec of rogues. Instead of buffing Subtlety, instead of trying to give Outlaw a helping hand, they're just instead going to bring down Assassination a peg. Now, I don't think this nerf is going to make Assassination go completely out of style, but it definitely is going to bring it down quite a few pegs. 6% nerf, not only just for your Mutilates and Venoms and Dots, but everything, even your Vendetta setups, is actually pretty huge. I think with this nerf, it is time to start taking a look at Outlaw and Subtlety. I am not going to ask you guys to learn and perfect and play the spec you might not enjoy, whether it is Outlaw or Subtlety, but what I'm saying is if you're a rogue right now, I feel like you should be a lot more open-minded, looking out for other opportunities where you can do more damage and be a lot more effective in PvP situations. Start thinking about Outlaw and Subtlety while watching your Assassination Rogue hit for 6% less in the next round of arenas. Onto some other nerfs, and they decided to nerf the whole RMP, RMD, Rogue Mage Healer combo completely by going after the mages as well. For Frost Mage, Frigid Grasp Azurite trait, which reads, Icy Veins grants you a charge of Fingers of Frost and increases your intellect by 454 for 20 seconds, is now going to function a little bit different with Ice Form. Because Ice Form doesn't last nearly as long as Icy Veins, once Ice Form fades, Frigid Grasp Azurite trait would actually stick to the character. So after 12 seconds of Ice Form, you will still have 8 more seconds of extra intellect from Frigid Grasp, and now Blizzard is going to make it so that when Ice Form fades, the Frigid Grasp Azurite trait also fades. On top of that, intellect granted by Frigid Grasp is reduced by 66% when gained from Ice Form to match the reduced cooldown of the ability, so that's a pretty beefy nerf no matter how you look at it. Comet Storm damage is reduced by 20% against players, and Frostbolt damage increased by 15% against players in order to compensate for some of the bursty nerfs that Frost Mages have gotten. Now, you would think that maybe buffing the damage of your Frostbolt might be still fine for Frost Mages because their Mastery Icicles still works off of Frostbolts, but they did change that as well, so this nerf is actually pretty big for burst. I had to make sure to brush up on the mastery for Frost Mages. Mastery Icicles, casting Frostbolt and Flurry grants you an Icicle, but the Icicle scales with 0.1% of spell power, at least as it reads on Wowhead. It no longer works off of Frostbolt, so you can't really charge up for a beefier burst. This means that casting Frostbolts for sustain is the only thing that Frost Mage is going to end up getting, while Comet Storm and Frigid Grasp and Ice Form as a burst combo is going to be much weaker, which is a pretty huge nerf to the burst of Frost Mages. On top of that, fire also got chunked as well. Meteor damage is reduced by a whopping 20% against enemy players, and fireball damage increased by 15 when engaging combat with enemy players. Fireball being the ability that not a lot of fire mages cast, mostly going for insta casts and big setups with Meteor, I guess this makes sense. It is really weird to see Frost Mages and Fire Mages getting completely neutered on their burst playstyle, while Blizzard is trying to kind of compensate their sustained playstyle. Even though I don't think in BFA so far, if you're watching any serious arenas, I don't think I've ever seen a Mage cast Fireball full time unless they had some certain Azure traits or Honor Talents to back up the ability and the playstyle. And lastly, Enhancement boys, the Shaboys ended up getting a sweet nerf. And I'm actually kind of sad about this one because I was watching Tickle play some Enhancement and it was super enjoyable. So sorry Tickle, your spec literally just got nerfed. All damage reduced by 5%. That one is going to sting a little bit, but there's going to be a couple other things to also back it up. What Blizzard also found is Enhancement Shamans are doing really well on heals, so mana regeneration is reduced by 30% when engaged in PvP. Yikes. Healing Surge, healing for only Enhancement, reduced by 33% against players. Double yikes. As well as, while we're having Shamans on the ground, let's punch them some more while they're down. Rolling Storm Azure rate, which reads, every 2 seconds, reduce the cost of your next Storm Strike by 2, Maelstrom, and increase its damage by 5, 6, and 7. This effect stacks up to 15 times. Additional Storm Strike damage now diminishes per stack when in combat with enemy players. Whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. Very odd language. I actually have no idea what they mean by that. Regardless, we saw some nerfs for Assassination Rogues and their amazing gameplay and dominance in PvP. We're seeing a burst nerf for Mages for Frost and Fire, which makes the RMP type of combo, Rogue Mage Healer, a lot less effective, and Shamans, the Shaboys, being super popular as of recent PvP. Healing is nerfed, Azure trait got curbed, Healing Surge is even more nerfed, and on top of that, all damage reduced by 5%. Yikes. If you guys are an Outlaw Rogue or an Arcane Mage or an LA Shaman, I think it is time to start taking a look at your spec all over again. Maybe? We don't know yet. We'll see where it goes in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys want to see more stuff like this, just updates on PvE and PvP changes whenever they happen, let me know in the comments below and hit up this video with a like. Likes allow my videos to reach a wider audience, and it will be very helpful because the channel is so close to hitting 100,000 subscribers. It'll be very cool to see us reach that kind of milestone somewhere in the near future. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on all these nerfs, and I'll see all of you guys in another one.